If you just would have listened to me last week, I tried to tell you after the Indiana game that opened up the season that Indiana was a better football team than that final score indicated. Yes, they only won by a 27-14 margin, and everybody was concerned. Everybody thought Indiana is not the same team as they were a year ago. But if you watched this podcast, you would have learned from me that there was nothing to panic about. Indiana was fine. They dominated that game a week ago. They just had some bad breaks. They had to clean up things like not executing in the red zone, minor issues. And I didn't think Fernando Mendoza was at his best, and I thought maybe he had some first game jitters. Bottom line was, I told you, Indiana's a really good football team. They've got a ton of talent. They absolutely manhandled the last week. They manhandled. Who was it they even played? I can't even remember who they played now because I've got Kennesaw State on my mind. But Indiana won that game last week, manhandling Old Dominion. It's Old Dominion who they played. But anyway, they won that game only by 13 points, but they were like 40 points better than Old Dominion. Maybe 50. And I thought, just relax, everyone. If you go back and watch the video, I will tell you, there is nothing to be concerned about with Indiana football. It was the holiday weekend. It was the non-live version that we did last weekend. It's all there on tape for the world to see. I told you Indiana would be fine. What did we see today? We saw a different Indiana football team, one that cleaned up those mistakes, which you don't see under Curt Cignetti teams. One that executed and finished drives in the red zone, something we do see from Curt Cignetti teams. And Fernando Mendoza, highly efficient. Did he light up the stat sheet? No, he did what he needed to do. He made some completions down the field, but he made some shorter intermediate completions. He had some accurate little out routes. He had his timing down much better. I thought his timing was excellent today versus last week. And as a result, Indiana just crushes Kennesaw State, a team that almost beat Wake Forest a week ago by a final score of 56-9. Indiana fans should be pretty excited about this. About 600 yards of total offense. I mean, Indiana you look at the stats. They just dominated this game against Kennesaw State. Like I said, they had almost 600 yards of total offense. When you look at team stats, before we even look at individuals, Indiana had 28 first downs in this football game. They were 5 of 9 on third down while holding Kennesaw State to just 2 of 13. When you got a chance to get your opponent off the field, you got to get third down stops. Indiana's defense did that today. Only 271 yards of total offense for Kennesaw State. Indiana officially with 593 total offensive yards, 280 passing, and 313 yards rushing. And what was impressive about Indiana on the ground is multiple players had solid games rushing the football. They got 90 yards from Lee Beebe Jr. They got 57 yards from Kalen Black. They got 64 yards from Roman Hemby. And, of course, Mark Cooper had that big run, 75 yards for a touchdown. But overall, Indiana showed they've got a very talented, very physical team. Their defense, it's got a couple of holes in the secondary. It looked like they were a little soft, a little unsure on some of the pass coverages. But I think they'll get that cleaned up. Indiana was fantastic, 56-9. I mean, it's a good Kennesaw State team. It's still not the level of what you face generally in the Big Ten, obviously, but Indiana dominated them, and that's what everybody wanted to see. Not only domination on the field, but domination on the scoreboard. We saw that today with the Indiana Hoosiers. Tonight, it is Purdue. They'll be in action. They're taking on Southern Illinois at home. And we'll see how they bounce back after a pretty impressive week one performance. I hope it doesn't go to their head, and I hope they don't think that they're better than they actually are. It's still a sub-average football team. that beat up on a weak football team in Ball State. Yes, I'm sorry, Ball State fans. That's not a great Ball State football team. And Purdue needs to be sharp, needs to be better than they were a week ago. But I think they should win this game. I don't feel like they're in a position where it's a threat to lose the game. But you also don't want to expose weaknesses against an opponent like Southern Illinois. So that game comes up tonight. Also, coming up, what we've got. Oh, you know what we have tonight? We have Michigan and Oklahoma, which should be a good one. That should be a good one. We'll see exactly if Michigan can keep up with that bar that was set during the Harbaugh regime, because I don't think Michigan's going to be quite as good as they were over the last 5-6 years. All right, what else do we have to know about today? Well, we got to talk about last night. High school football last night. We saw a game that wasn't the most entertaining game, but it was a game that was in doubt until the fourth quarter. 9-0. Snyder defeats Bishop Luers. Snyder avoids their first 0-3 start in school history. I mean, we're going back to, 1970, 71? I don't even know. Maybe even late 60s. I'm trying to think when Snyder started playing football. But you've never had in Snyder's history an 0-3 start, and they were very close to getting to that, losing their first two. And then Bishop Luers had a play on 4th and 1, and they gambled it. They ran the fly pattern down the left sideline, thinking that Snyder would not be expecting the deep pass on a 4th down and 1, and they got Nate Javins wide open, running the sideline. All he had to, and the ball was placed perfectly right in the breadbasket. All he had to do was catch it in stride and just keep on running. And he had 7 points from, I think it would have been about 70 or 75 yards, maybe even 80 yards away. And what happened? Ball bounced out of his hands and he didn't catch it. And so the score stayed 6-0. Snyder ended up tacking on a field goal, and Snyder won it 9-0 last night. We never saw a touchdown in our game of the week. Never saw a touchdown. Kind of a long night when you don't see a touchdown being scored. Congratulations to the Northrop Bruins. They defeat Northside, as I told you they would. And Northrop is now off to a 3-0 start. They've got Homestead next week. Oh, we've got a good one between Bishop Dwenger and Carroll. Looks like the Saints have the offense in gear. 46 points in the first half against the Wayne Generals. And Bishop Dwenger ends up winning at 46-0. They just kind of took their foot off the gas in the second half and just made it a defensive field position type game. As the clock ran because of the mercy rule, there were no stoppages on the clock, so running clock made it a quick game, made it a 46-0 Bishop Dwenger victory, and they'll take on the Carroll Chargers, who I think still probably the most talented team in the SAC, but I think we'll find out just how talented Bishop Dwenger is when we see him on the field against Carroll High School this coming Friday. That is our game of the week. So we've got the Colts tomorrow against Miami, and we're going to get a live show in probably just after that game ends. So I hope you tune in for that. Hope you're checking out the post-game show after high school football presented by Kester's, live from Pizza Hut. We did that last night, kind of doing a split screen with our studio desk and scoreboard being done at our studios with me on remote at Pizza Hut. I thought it worked pretty well. And for week number 1, there'll be a little bugs to work out, but I thought it was a pretty cool show. And then as we get comfortable with the audio, because I didn't have a coach on last night because I was like, okay, first thing is we've got to make sure the 2 positions that we have are working well technically. The studio desk, the remote broadcast in Pizza Hut, communicating with each other, and of course, both of us being able to get over the air properly with good audio. And that was accomplished. So I think now we're ready to go to coaches. I would have liked to have coaches last night. There were a couple I wanted to talk to, but we've got to take some steps here as we adjust to the new post-game format. But I thought it worked pretty well last night. Colts, Miami, coming up tomorrow. What do you expect? Leave it in the comments. Also, subscribe, like, share this channel. Hey, how about we start growing now that it's football season and we're coming up? We've got Comet Hockey that's not far away. We've got the Mastodons. We've got IU basketball, Purdue basketball. Should be a very fun winter. But let's go ahead, get involved here on the channel, and make sure you subscribe to the Sports Rush with Brett Rump. I'm out. Have a terrific Saturday night. Good luck on the Powerball. I've got my tickets right now. So, you know, I might just buy YouTube if I win. I don't think I can afford YouTube, but I wouldn't mind being a billionaire. I'll take it. Let's win. Let's go, baby. Let's win the Powerball tonight. Go get your tickets and let's all share. I don't have enough followers at this point that we couldn't share with everybody. I might do that. If I win, just for being a subscriber to the channel, I might give something to every single subscriber. Just a nice little gift. I might do that. I wouldn't go broke right at this point. Now, eventually, I hope it would be something I could never do. But right now, I win 1 point whatever billion, almost $2 billion. Yeah, I'd probably gift, a couple $1,000 or something. I don't want to commit to anything that I can't cover. But I would think if I did the math, I would think I could cover a little something for everybody if I win the jackpot. Pull for me and you can be a winner too. How's that? And all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. There's no commitment. There's no fee. It's not a pay-per-click type of thing. You just subscribe for free and you can be part of our little family here at the Sports Rush with Brett Rump, covering Fort Wayne area sports. Gotta go. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you live tomorrow after the Colts and the Dolphins, the NFL